Hello, welcome to a new episode and something slightly different. If you haven't been here before, I normally do historic Brawl videos, but I just wanted to mix it up and just do something that I don't normally do. Don't worry if you're my regular viewers, this probably won't be a regular thing, but I just wanted to get something different out there to see how people reacted and see how it goes. So this is a Grixis deck for Explorer. So the Explorer format is a bit confusing. It essentially is a stopgap for Wizards of the Coast before Pioneer reaches the format, so there's need a bit more time and support to add cards. Essentially, I'm pretty sure Pioneer was Modern Light, and its cards going back to something like Tarkir, Dragons of Tarkir set. It's a bit confusing, but essentially this format I actually really like because it reminds me of Modern, and also it uses real life cards, so there will be no digital cards in this format. Everything you see here will be the cards printed as is, and it's just a nice way to not get confused. So whatever you see here you can make in paper, so it's really cool. The deck is, as you can see, Grixis, which is, if you've been watching me for a while now, you'll know it's my favourite colour combination. Uses my boy Niicol Bolas the Ravager. 2 copies of that, 2 copies of Dragon God. So the format is mega aggressive, so just keep that in mind. I'm not saying this is going to get you into Mythic tier. It is very good though, I have to say. I did used to use this a long time ago before I just did Historic Brawl. So you've got the early Thought Seizers here to get rid of your opponent's combos or threats into the late game. Fatal Push remains, I think to this day, still one of the premium removal cards. 4 copies of that because there's a lot of aggro decks out there. You could use Cut Down, but I still think Fatal Push is good because it can hit 2 CMC or 4 CMC as well. You might want to think about adding a few fetch lands to the deck just to make it a bit more effective. But I normally find that your things are going to be removed anyway, and it works really well with Prismari Command because this makes you a treasure. If you sacrifice a treasure and then use a Fatal Push, this can kill something that costs 4 because one of your permanents was removed from the battlefield. Augur Bolas is here as a chump blocker, which is really needed against the numerous red prowess decks that I see out there at the moment. Search for Scanner, just 1 copy because it is quite slow, but it can strengthen your late game and get you into lands you need. Heartless Act is, I'm not 100% sure on this. I don't like the idea it can't get rid of creatures with counters, but for now it's just, again, a stopgap to see how well it works. It's working out pretty fine so far. There's not really anything it can't kill that as anything else can't. 1 copy of Croxer versus the control decks because this is just really awesome. You get rid of a card, you can cast it again later. Search for Scanner is great with it as well because it can put something in the graveyard. It can fuel the bin to get Croxer out a bit early. 1 copy of Meat Hook Massacre, just a little bit of life gain. Just whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1, but then whenever a creature an opponent dies, you gain 1, so that's really useful. Kurligan's Command, probably the best card in the deck. It does so many things. If you do this in the opponent's draw step after they've drawn a card, you can make them discard a card, kill one of the creatures. Mental. Prismari Command, almost as good, but not quite as good. It can ramp you into a turn 4 Niicol Bolas Dragon God, which is pretty epic. So keep this in mind. Very versatile. Any commands are great, really. 1 Liliana, just to, again, be good against the control decks. Elspeth's Nightmare is really nice because it does so many things. It's like a little Planeswalker for 3 mana, kills most of the aggro creatures in the format, looks in your opponent's hand and exiles the yard, which is super relevant if they're using something like Lurrus. Ritual of Cert, very simple, very effective. It doesn't sound or look exciting or good, but I assure you this has just won me so many games because they've flooded the board and they can't deal with wiping the board. But there's only 2 of these because getting the flip is quite hard, but it does make a really good mid-game blocker to get rid of one of their cards as well. If you flip it into Bolas, you've probably won the game. If you've got 7 mana to spare, and if you lasted that long, you're going to win the game. Dark Intimations is a little bit of an oddball card. It's one of my personal favourites just because nobody expects this. It does so many things. Makes opponent sack a creature or planeswalker, discard a card, you return a creature or planeswalker back from your hand from your graveyard, and you draw a card. So that's 4 for 1. And if this is in graveyard and you play Bolas Walker, it comes in with an additional counter if you exile this from your graveyard. It's bonkers good, really good. And then Niicol Bolas Dragon Guard, really powerful. Again, if this can resolve and you're against aggro and you somehow still alive, you'll probably dominate the game. Really powerful. Land base is going to be pretty wacky with all these wildcards needed for these lands, but this is a staple across the entire format and pretty much every format on Arena and in paper. So I've prioritised a bit more black and red because we've got more black and red spells, fewer blue spells, but we have got a few of those doors as well. 1 copy of Otawara just to ban something that can't be responded to very easily because they can't counter this, and a Castle Thwain, which has also pulled me back from the depths of losing. So let's get into this Explorer format then. Let's see what it's like. I'll be playing ranked in the low tiers because obviously I haven't played this for very long. but I am quite versed in playing 60 card. In the old days I used to play standard. So don't forget, if you like the video, to leave me a like and sub to support the channel. Tell me below if you enjoyed this and if you would like to see more. And if you haven't seen my other videos, check them out. Historic Brawl, 100 card singleton format, really fun, really good individual games you can get from those. So yeah, let's get into the gameplay. Okay, putting us first with, who knows? It's an absolute mystery. As it's a different format, it's hard to say what they're using. There's a lot more variation in this format, which is somewhat ironic given that you can use cards and playsets. You know, I've never thought of that before. Like Historic Brawl, it's a singleton format. You have about 40 lands, 60 individual cards. But there seems to be kind of like a template for what people use. Whereas other 60 card formats, or other formats like this, tend to be a bit more variance. So we'll see how we get on here. Witch's Oven, yikes. So is it going to be a cat oven deck? Not seen one of those in ages. I mean, if it is, we do have the Gulligan's command to kill the oven, so we've got a solution. As long as we get to keep the cards in our hand. Could have a Thoughtseize here to get rid of something. No Thoughtseize. Let's go for Augur of Bolas. Bolas theme deck. Okay, we missed that. It misses actually a lot, considering the fact we have like 20 something spells in the deck. Claim the Firstborn. So they're gonna nick it and then they're gonna sack it. Okay. Fair enough. Oh, they're going to draw 2. Okay. Interesting. Using our own things against us. So I probably don't want to play Liliana until 2 Witch's Ovens. Okay, let's go for the Liliana. I feel like I don't want to play creatures because they're just going to steal them.
No more
so let's make us each discard a card.
Let's make this quick.
If
You
they
won't
have
be outsmarting me.
Mayhem Devil, that's going to be irritating because they can deal damage whenever they sack stuff. So we don't want to see Mayhem Devil. But at the same time, how are they going to deal with Liliana here? Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt. Although Lightning Bolt's not in the format, so Shock. If we also lose the Lily, we can bring it back with the Dark Intimation. So they not played this format for so long. And yet, nothing changes. Nothing ever changes, I suppose. It is an Eternal format, which is nice. So if I make them sack something, they're going to ping Lily. So we'll be down to 1 loyalty. But that's fine, right? I think that's fine. Yeah, we don't want them to have a Mayhem Devil, because that is very powerful, especially if they get a cat out. Okay, down to 1.
You know, I think you'd look better. Sacrifices must be made.
And there's no need to use the command just yet, until they have 1 card in hand. This is it's still going to be good, but I'd like to use this as a trump card, really. And our deck operates with 5 mana really well, so we don't need the Otawara. Drawing more cards, goodness me. They do a lot of that there, don't they? So they're drawing 4 additional cards. And another Mayhem Devil. Okay. So let's begin the destruction. So just target to play discards and destroy an artifact. So they're not going to have any cards left in their hand at all, because in our turn we're going to go for the Dark Intimations. Okay, so go for the land. So yeah, we want to go for discard first, and then we go for the Dark Intimations.
We all have things we'd
Okay,
rather.
so they're not really doing much over there. So let's make them sack the Mayhem. We're going to get to draw a card with the intimations, and we can also return the Augur of Bolas to hand. So you can see why this is so good in this situation. Yeah, Mayhem Devil is just bonkers. I actually think Mayhem Devil gets better with time, because obviously more things are printed that sacrifice things. Oh god. Oh god. So here's the cat. They can start doing loops and stuff. So let's go for the Augur first. We can still Elspeth's Nightmare afterwards. I'm not really sure why they have to respond in response here. But yeah, I'm not happy about this. The cat oven combo is one of the reasons why I quit playing 60 card. I know it's still here. Heartless Act is fine. Go for the Nightmare. I mean, they're going to get rid of the cat anyway, but what I'm interested in is the Exile Opponents section. So we can actually try and chain this off with the Heartless Act at stage 3, because it's unlikely that they're going to conform to our standards. So discard the Dragon Skull Summit.
You won't be outsmarting me.
And because we have a Lily, maybe we just go for the land anyway. Yeah, we'll play the land because there's no chance in hell we're going to get to bounce this cat. And also Liliana's going to tick up either way. So the Augur is acting really well here as a blocker too, because they can't get into Lily. We just have to hope to God they don't get anything that steals this or kills it. Another Claim the Firstborn would be annoying, because they would steal it, attack in, and then Witch's Oven it. And it looks like they're not going to have much of a hand either, because we're going to look in the hand and discard a non-land card. As if they had the Village Rights, drawing another 2 cards. That's crazy. So they've got +6 this game. So much draw. More draw than a typical control deck does, really, for the mana input. But I suppose it's good because if they use the Village Rights to sack the cat, they then don't get the treasure, sorry, the food with the Witch's Oven, which means they can't loop it as many times. Land play is good. It means their hand is not so great, I presume. Did they have to do that there? I'm not sure they did. So they've got a Takenuma in hand. Interesting. So they can use that to get something back. But we can make each player discard here. So even if they use the Takenuma, they're going to discard the creature they get back. So it doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter what they choose, because they only have 1 card in hand. So, oddly enough, even with few decision trees, it still takes people a while, given that they only have there's only 2 things they can really do. I'm not sure. Okay, so they return something and then the cat comes into play, but
We all have things we'd rather forget.
so if they return the cat here, I can just kill it. And then they can't use the Witch's Oven. So they'll need another way to get a treasure. So they cleverly didn't do it there. Yeah, because if you do it with a Witch's Oven tapped, yeah, they won't be getting the cat back. This is going to exile opponent's graveyard. So I'm going to put full control on our next turn. Claim the Firstborn. So they're going to use that to take Liliana down. Let's see if they got that. So many cards. Okay. Not really that bothered about keeping her down that much, am I? No, not really that bothered. She's still going to be around. Yeah, I need to put stops here as well. So I press Control as well as put stops here, just to make sure I get priority when the stage 3 goes off here. Yeah, it is a shame they got rid of our blocker, but there you go. How many of these have they used? They've used 1, 2 claims. But also now it's not safe for them to get the cat out, because if they go here, so they play the cat here. That's interesting. So we go to the main. The Ellsworth's Nightmare goes off. If they do this in response, they create a new stack, which means we can just kill the cat and then we're going to exile anyway, because they can't get it back. Oh, they can, can't they? They've got another food. Oh, okay, they've got, yeah, because they've got 2 treasures, haven't 2 food, sorry. So if you do this here, it means they just get it back again. So there's no point, I don't think. Yeah, damn, the 2 foods. The Lord of the Rings, the 2 foods. Okay. So we'll make each player discard.
You won't be outsmarting me.
So if we kill it here, they'll have to use that food. Yeah, so we don't want to kill it this turn. Oh my god, there's so many lines of play with the flipping cat. I'm pretty sure at one point this was banned in a format, possibly modern, in fact. Going for the lily. Okay, so we need another
You're gonna regret that.
Kurligan's Command. That is going to be necessary. It's a real shame we don't have any ways to do anything from the graveyard. Prismaric Command, that does it as well. Right, let's kill... Destroy the artifact. And... do we want to bother about going for this? Because, okay, let's just do it. Draw 2, discard 2. And then kill the Witch's Oven. So they're probably going to sack it anyway. So there really was no point doing 2 to the cat, because it feels like it's just a waste of time. And if they don't do it, then they miss out on an extra damage. Oh, brutal. Brutal, this combination of cards. I don't know why they made them so cheap. Yeah, we'll get rid of these 2. So that goes away. And we don't have to use Liliana here. What would be the point? We just discard our removal spell. Instant speed, flash cat, drain 1. Imagine that. Yeah, although they're in the bronze bracket, they're playing like a bit more of a pro than that. So I can definitely tell, having played this deck so many times. 34. They've officially drawn way more cards than us. I mean, we haven't really seen many of our cards. So obviously I want to get to a point where... another land. Okay, let's make each of us discard another card.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Fatal Push. So they're not bringing back the cat there because they know we can just kill it. But then, see, it's just mind games at this point. Absolute mind games. Yeah, I think we do want to discard it because we've got 2. And then if we discard a Heartless Act,
I'm tired of
they're going to think we don't have one. And they're just banking lands now. It makes sense. If we get to 6, then could be good. Dark Intimations, that's great as well. Yeah, I think we're just going to pass the turn here. There's no reason to discard either of these fantastic cards. and they know that because we didn't tick up. And if they have a way to kill Liliana, it's going to be sad, because if they get a Mayhem Devil, they're going to have 2 sack effects here. So Mayhem Devil, how many have they used in the graveyard? There's 1, 2, 3. So they've got 1 left in the deck. I think, anyway. How many is that? 1, 2, yeah, 3. My turn. So, yeah, we'll go to our turn here. Augur of Bolas. So, I don't really want to play creatures, so let's just go for the Dark Intimations. So, we'll make them discard a card from their hand. We get something back, and we get to draw a card, as usual. This is turning into a really epic match, considering that it's 2 fairly linear decks. I might consider putting some exile effects into our deck. So 2 Cauldrons. So now I really want a land, because a land will mean we can play one of our cards in hand. Fatal Push. Oh no, we don't have the black open. Okay, fine. We'll just make them discard. So they'll be able to put Liliana off ultimate, but they don't have any other...
Don't overthink things.
Just Fatal Pushes and blooming egg. Okay, so they could just go for the 2 cats into play here, so it'll be on 10. They both attack Like, they don't go for it, though. Why did they do that now? Very strange. My goodness. So they've given up on the cat synergy. They're going for... So they've played that untapped. Wow. They're going to mill themselves here. 26. Another cat. Goodness me. Bolas. Okay. So do we just go for the 6? So we could make them split their permanents into 2 piles. I kind of want it to be alive though. Let's go for Bolas. It's going to come in with 2 extra counters because of the stipulation that this is in the graveyard. Opponent's just checking the triggers out because it's probably not very common that happens. I really wish we had a swamp so we can Fatal Push. Not sure why it's taking so long to just read all these abilities, and they're quite apparent, but there you go. Yeah, so let's tick up here, draw a card. Are we going to get a land? We get a Croxer. So actually Croxer is good because we can discard that with the Liliana. It doesn't really affect us in any way. And then next turn we can cast it from the graveyard pretty easily, to be honest.
Witness a mote of mine.
Just play discard. I mean, the scary thing is it might not be a good idea to go for the Croxer, just because if they steal it,
Drop it.
we will be able to... They will... Another fatal... 1, 2, 3 Fatal Pushes in the graveyard. So it's good because they can kill Croxer with it. Blood Tithe Harvester gets a blood, but blood cannot be sacked to get the Cauldron back. So is the writing on the wall. Are we going to get around their silly cat synergy here? Yes, finally. Goodness, that was hard work. Very hard. Right, putting us first. Starting hand seems pretty good. Pretty nice curve. 2, 3, 4. Red, green. It's going to be aggro build. Oh, energy. It's going to be... It's Teamer energy. This used to be really powerful in Standard back in the day. We do have the Ritual of Soot, though. And I know the deck will have a lot of low-to-the-ground creatures. And we've got a couple of Augurs to chump up some of the damage. Fatal Push, wonderful. That's going to be good here. I mean, I presume it's a Teamer energy build, considering they've got Teamer colours and energy. Is it the Thopter Maker? Nothing. Oh, it could be the Aetherworks Marvel deck as well. Let's go for another Augur here. So the Aetherworks Marvel, that got them into Ulamog really quickly, so missed sadly. Well, we'll see what we're dealing with. I mean, we're well on the way to getting Bolas on turn 5. Just get another land or two would be good. So we've got 2 turns to get the 5th mana. Bristling Hydra. So they can give it hexproof. Does it have trample? Yeah, this is giving me flashbacks. This is pretty cool. CMC4. It's going to be troubling to kill this, I have to say. Heartless Act. So they can give it a counter and hexproof until end of turn. Pay 2 life. Okay, we go for the Bolas. So currently Bolas can block this, and I'm happy to do so. Even if they put the counter on this, it's only going to be a 5/4. Obviously, the difficulty lies is if they get another energy, they can do this twice, making it a 6/5. But I think at that point, I'll just triple block, and they still only kill the Bolas. Okay, so I'm not going to attack, obviously. Because that would just be pointless. Harness Lightning. So that is slightly problematic. Although it does reduce their total energy. They're going to do it once. So don't think blocking is necessary here. If we get this Bolas out, then we can start ticking up and we have the blocks from... Okay, so we can't do... Okay, going to pass a turn. Let's see if we can do some tricks in their turn. The main idea is to block the Augur of Bolas. So when that dies, we can try and use the 2 Fatal Pushes, because that can target something with 4 CMC and kill it if we have a permanent leave the battlefield. I'm kind of glad they're using their energy, because it means that they've got less energy for the Aetherworks Marvel. If they play it, we don't know if they play it for sure. Okay, so here comes the pain. Right, now they could have any number of tricks. Okay, so let's go here. So sadly, I think we are just going to have to give them the chump, because we need the Fatal Push to be able to kill something of that size. And the only sad part is if they give it hexproof twice, because they can play something instant speed to gain more energy. Oh, this is really tricky. This is like an actual puzzle. It's interesting, because I've not played this for so long, I've forgotten how complex it actually is. Probably why I stopped playing for so long, because it is just really, you know, makes the cogs turn. And because it's all paper, it's quite nice. Right, so the first thing we want to do, so we don't want this to resolve, they can give this hexproof once. So we're going to go Fatal Push on the Hydra. So then they can give it hexproof. So before that, we can also go Heartless Act. Destroy a creature with no counters on it. Right, so we're using a lot of resources on this one Hydra. And if they somehow do something else to give it protection, then we still have the Fatal Push. There's 3 spells. Goodness me, that was a lot of spells to kill one Hydra. Okay, so they can double this guy's power. It is an artifact though, so let's kill it here. Destroy artifacts, draw 2, so... Because we want to hit a land. They've got no mana open, so surely they can't protect this. Thoughtseize. Let's get rid of these 2, and Yeah, it's a shame we've missed our land drop, but we can Thought Seize away another Hydra maybe, if they've got another Hydra. We'll see. Get the Questing Beast. That's more threatening. So that doesn't have haste, so we can actually attack here. This can deal 6 damage to a flyer, and that can give something +4/+2 trample. Okay, attune with ether. So they want to get the basics out. Yeah, kind of makes sense. So okay, so if we get a swamp, we can go for the Bolas and kill the brawler without much hindrance here. They've got so much energy. Okay, we can still go for the Bolas. And because they've got a card that gives trample, we're going to have to kill the brawler.
Suffer for your cause.
And just leave it back just in case they've got something sneaky with haste. Cullen's Command, that's going to be good. So draw another card. So we make them lose resources now. Elspeth's Nightmare. So
Let your weak minds crumble.
we could just Thought Seize that away, but I'm not that bothered. Yeah, we'll leave it back. We'll keep applying pressure with the Bolas uptick here. Bristling Hydra. This is going to be an absolute pain. They've got 8 energy. Okay, it doesn't have trample though. So let's make them discard. And we can return. Get the Bolas back. So we'll reduce the number of cards in hand, which is good because we want our Bolas to be able to diminish their resources. And this gives it trample, which is just, that would be game ending, I think, at that point. Oh wow, we got around them. Really cool. That felt very tricky. Yeah, some really great players. Although I am in bronze and he was in silver, so it seems to be matching me up against people stronger than myself. We go first. No blue source, but I think I want to keep it anyway. I don't like the idea of going down to 6 cards. It's a bit risky. So we can play the majority of the cards in our hand, which is good, including removal. Green, white, okay. So we have shields online here. So once we get our 3rd and 4th land, it should be good. Gianna, so it's an angel build. I'm actually going to save the Heartless Act for anything bigger, I think. Because now we can just go for Liliana. Make them sack.
Happy to help.
And then we can save the
Off
instant
you go.
speed removal for something bigger or smaller or more versatile here. I'm thinking it's a Coco deck. Okay. So let's take some damage. And then we can have the Fatal Push Up, kill the Giada, and make them discard. So they do have Collector Company.
Don't overthink things.
How are we going to deal with that? Well, not sure. So yeah, I'm new to all these. This is awesome art, by the way. This is an angel build. Okay, so they need the 4th land, it seems. Cool thing with sagas is once this gets to stage 3 and goes away, Fatal Push will be able to trigger as well. So we desperately need a 5th land. So it is a Collector Company deck. So they'll be able to do that in the following turn. We don't have the blue source still. But yeah, let's use the Heartless Act on the Inspiring Overseer. Boys crying downstairs. And we can uptick here.
We all have
I think
things
we get rid of the
bother.
Prismari Command at this point. Because we can't play it anyway, and we just need the blue source for Bolas. And once we get this, it might be decent. So they're going to main phase a Coco. Oof, okay, 2 angels. So I'm going to save the Fatal Push for the Resplendent Angel. So yeah, we'll kill the angel here. And we can literally just take out everything they have. Absolutely brutality here. And then Thoughtseize the card in the hand.
Personal space?
I am an absolute meanie, apparently. So we've just got rid of all of the cards they own. Speaker of the Heavens. Oh wow, look at that. And we even got the blue source. So we'll kill the Speaker because we don't want them making angels, do we?
Your existence is
And we even have protection of the Bolas following turn with a -2 on the Lily.
Don't
So
overthink
at this point in time, it's just a Coco that's going to be bad. Okay, 2 angels. That is not good. Yikes, what do we do? What do we do? We can get back the Augur of Bolas. Let's draw a card here. Oh, and we got the Fatal Push. Wow. That's fantastic. So we can kill both.
weak minds crumble.
We can Fatal Push the Bishop. Whenever an angel dies, create a 1/1. Yeah, we don't want that to happen, do we? So let's kill the Bishop. And then I'm actually not going to use the Lily. But in their draw, after their draw step, I'm going to use the Coligan's command. So let's just hope they don't get a Coco here, because they can respond. Discard. I do wish the boy wasn't crying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry to both of you. Okay, so I think we probably have this in the bag. Yep. That was brutal. Did you know that you can help my channel by watching another one of my videos? Go ahead, you know you want to.